just about ready for the first touch. There's the whistle. We are underway. Wake Forest in all white, Notre Dame in all navy. The 16th meeting between these two teams. They did not play each other last season. Of course, in 2023, it was a 1-1 draw. It was a very good Notre Dame team. Notre Dame, as we mentioned in the open, they would love to just kind of put the stamp on things, get a win, and that will pretty much secure their spot. They'll definitely, they could move up to the 4th spot in the ACC, but that resume does look very, very inviting to get an invitation to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it certainly does, and so does their RPI, which is strong.
That's another thing. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons are on a hunt, of course, with how things have developed for them. Their RPI is outside of the bubble, but a lot of very good opportunities in front.
Yes, that's the great thing about playing in the ACC. Notre Dame at 33 in the RPI, while Wake Forest at 48. So there's a significant gap between the two.
Torbic gets a start and immediately will send it over to the left side to Tate Lawrence. The Deacs drew with Pitt on the road. You know, we talk about how the standard for them, again, not there, right, Kyle? But the last loss was against Stanford. That's you know, the good news. Bad news is they've had a lot of draws.
Yeah, they've just not been able to get over the hump for the victories.
Here comes Spicer already trying to test Bednard. I remember I was talking to Coach Muse. It was the first time that they did away with the golden goal, right? And that year, Wake Forest didn't have a single tie. Last season, what was it, 5 ties? Now here they are with 6. And
yeah, missed the days of the golden goal tie. It was a lot of fun. And I get it, cut down on minutes, especially with, you know, playing twice a week. It was becoming a lot.
Yep.
You really could rack up minutes doing that.
Shiraji getting the start as that 9.
He's earned it. He's been feisty. There haven't been a ton of goal-scoring options for Wake Forest this season as the number 9, but he has really been involved heavily in games for the past 2-3 weeks. And you know, when the goal scoring is spotty, you go with the players that are getting themselves involved the most, and he has absolutely done that.
This time last season, Wake Forest had 10 goals fewer than what they have right now. Obviously, the defense was a lot more stout last season, but they've kind of figured some things out. And White overlap Thomas. Thomas latches on. Surges ahead and loses his footing, goes out of bounds. Thomas, he can insert himself into the attack. It just seems that he's looking for so many options going through his head that, you know, by the time he decides he wants to do plan B, plan A, he slips up.
Well, that was a pretty good move, actually. He cut really hard and quick to the right, to the outside to get some space, and then he wanted to send the defender flying by and cut back. He just lost his footing. I think that was a really quality move. He's got such quick acceleration. I mean, he could go from standing still to burst of speed very quickly.
I mean, it's such a big asset to have when you get into the attack. If you just get that touch back to be a golden touch, then hard to imagine where that could take him. But he's a workhorse, I can tell you that. He will move up and down the pitch and not even flinch that he is ran for 90 minutes straight. There's Green moving it to Schrader. And back to Ferguson. driving and knifing into Shaw, trying to send that one up ahead for Borso. That felt weird saying Borso for the other team.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Dylan here with Notre Dame, or with Wake Forest, and he was spectacular all season long. Never got a chance to play against his brother.
Wyatt Borso, the oldest, and has become a big asset in the attack for Notre Dame, leading the team in goals. White. Balfour. And here's Green. Not sure we get back to Shaw. Notre Dame using the width. Good a bend on that one. Did you see the bend on the left foot? Immediately took a right turn.
Yeah, that was just inches over the head of Wyatt Borso.
Lawrence and Flax working together, the top points getters in 2025 for Wake Forest. Cooper Flax his senior night tonight. Be sad to see number 18
he's
not
been
in a Wake Forest uniform.
Yeah, he's been a fixture for this team over the last 4 years, and he's really grown as a player. I think he still has plenty more to develop, but he's been fantastic for this Wake Forest team, not just on the field, but also Ty as a leader. You know, he's a very humble player, but he has a very high soccer IQ, and you can see what he's doing right now. Look at this. He is, you know, just directing his team like a quarterback on the field.
Also Vlad Walent and Nico Rabio, Bassett Umar. Quality individuals right there. Wake Forest has done a great job of bringing just solid people into this program.
It's a key component of this squad. Bobby Muse really prioritizes character.
Every one of those guys on that list, you would not think that they are playing in, you know, Power 4 team like Wake Forest. They're just very humble. Of course, they'll have a little bit of cockiness, right? But
it's not cockiness, it's confidence.
Yeah, it's confidence.
There's a big difference.
Yeah. Ball escapes away from Green. I remember the first time Cooper Flax came on campus. The skinny kid, young kid, and immediately smiling ear to ear. I said, "Who's this?" I said, "This is Cooper. He's a freshman." I'm like, all right. Come to find out, of course, he was the #1 recruit brought in.
Sure was.
And the personality to go with it. As Tate Lawrence has that one taken away, Notre Dame trying to get some numbers up. And Notre Dame has had an interesting year themselves. They've got some good results, and then they've had some results that maybe scratch their head. But here's the crux of it. You know, here they are sitting in the middle of the ACC, but if they win, they could find themselves top 4 in the ACC, the best conference in the country.
That's right. And that's the benefit of being able to be resilient over the course of this season. You know, they've suffered some defeats. You know, the results maybe haven't gone their way all the way throughout the season, but this is a resilient team. And, you know, you lose 2-1 at NIU, you bounce right back and beat Boston College on the road. So this very talented squad has been able to keep themselves afloat.
It also has to do with Chad Riley, a former player himself of Notre Dame. There he is, good friend with Coach Muse. But every time he's got a squad, they will fight tooth and nail. And they also have a lot of talented players, too. That one's taken away and a shot ripped that goes just wide. And the run to the College Cup, had a couple interviews with him. Coach Muse says he's too nice. Well, his team doesn't play nice. They will go right at you. And Shaw slides it over to the left side, and now Notre Dame trying to work the service ball into the 18, and off the hop played on that left foot by Escribano. Escribano will be his last match at home.
Yeah, just Wyatt Borso here, just taking it right off of Jose Perez.
Cutting centrally is Lawrence. Lawrence laying it back for Perez. Perez with White. White to see if he can get creative. To Torvik, top of the 18. He's got a good foot. Good turn by White. And White trying to blast it. It was deflected. Yes, it was. I was going to say, unless he hit that weird thing with his toe.
No, that went, blasted it off the defender for sure. I mean, wonderful turn. This is a great ball by Torvik and an excellent use of the body by Jeffrey White. He knew that he couldn't go to the inside with it, so he just turned and used the momentum of the ball to take him to the outside.
Go with the short option. Torvik to Perez. Perez back to Torvik. Torvik trying to insert it. And inserting himself is Travis Smith Jr. A lot of Navy kits inside the box. Really only Sarajan was sitting there in front of the 6. And Escribano's now moved centrally to himself. The Deacs knocking it around. Looking for a service ball inside the 18. As Kruger is also getting all the way up. First corner of the night between both of these teams. The ball played a little too heavy and is taken away. Quick on the counter press, but Notre Dame still with it. Balfour. Deacs trying to pin Notre Dame back. A very tight quarter. That was good marking by Torvik, because really nowhere to go.
Very good pressure. Excellent pressing by Wake Forest. This is not a team that has pressed hard this year, you know, repeatedly or throughout games, but they have triggers in certain moments, especially when an opponent gets wide. And they'll use that sideline as a sort of extra defender.
Travis Smith tangled up. Immediately the flag comes up. Daniel Radford is our center referee. Our side judges Benjamin Wooten and Chris Zerner. Torvik just couldn't quite flick it, and it will land possession Fighting Irish. And the Pitt match, Pitt went ahead 1-0. And then Wake Forest came back. Pitt got a red card. And Deacs able to tie it. The service ball by Cooper Flax, and Sarajan got on the end of it. Scored, made it 1-1, but they definitely put it in overdrive to try to see if they could steal 3 points on the road. But how the theme has gone this season ends in a draw.
Well, sometimes it can be harder to play against 10 men than it can 11, just because of the way teams play when they have 10. It's the second time Amani Thomas has lost his footing.
Thomas. Over to the left to Lawrence. Lawrence, little heavy touch, got that one too far out in front, immediately gobbled up by Kelly. Yeah, you change to 10 men, you start playing more conservatively, move players back. You don't quite open it up as much.
It's interesting how teams react falling down to 10 men. Sometimes it can galvanize a team and give them spark and life and just increase focus, right? Oh, I know we're down a man, so now we really have to focus. And some teams crumble in those situations, so it all depends.
It's all about body language too on the pitch. I mean, your team has to a team can't kind of put their heads down when they go down to just 10 men. And they have to accept the challenge and get back in the driver's seat. Just under 30 to go in the first half. 0-0. Both teams with a shot apiece. And both teams really need the 3 points. Travis Smith coming over to seal that one off. Nednard, who was our player to watch first year after Trace Alphen, and I think he has grown up right in front of our eyes. And he's got the potential to be really, really superb.
Absolutely. There's just no debate about it that he's an exceptional player.
It's just that confidence issue, right? Since if you can get that confidence, get over that hump, and you take initiative inside that box, I think the game is going to look almost easy to him. Kruger. And Kruger able just to get that emergency clearance. Talk about that laser focus. Kruger is the definition of that. As soon as that whistle starts, he's a man possessed.
He's also just a very accurate tackler. You very rarely see him miss or arrive late. And that, you know, to your point, it takes intense focus to be a player like that.
Notre Dame trying to break through. Still sitting here in the attacking third. Here's the service ball whipped in.
See, look at that. I mean, it's just his body's in such awkward position, and still he's able to get the ball away and prevent the attacker from latching on.
Does end up and a corner for Notre Dame. And Wake Forest trying to see if they could get the goal kick. Now, this is also very important. Notre Dame they are Arsenal-like when it comes to set pieces. It is a art form. So watch closely. Wake Forest has to put the clamps on the set pieces. First test, able to get out of there. Here's Sarajan. Left alone on an island, squirts that one out for White. White close to the byline, waiting for his teammates to get down. Plays the support to Torvik. It was great work by Wake Forest. They didn't have the numbers in their advantage, but
nope.
That's through ball to Jeffrey White could have opened some things up, and then White had to kind of hit the brakes to wait for his teammates to get down there. And then that stifles the attack on the counter.
Well, yes. I would say this, though, that I think it's totally a reasonable assumption that Bobby Muse has decided that, and these players too, that, hey, I'd rather recycle possession and work 11v11 in the half court than I would have a 2-on-5 counter. Because if you whiff on that, you're going to lose the ball right away. And you send one cross in, it gets headed away, and there goes your attack.
Well, that's where you say as soon as you're able to get on the counter, get on your horse.
Sure.
Right.
But if there's nobody with you,
yeah, I mean that's the only play he could do, really, but because he's waiting for more possible targets. Well, we still sit here 0-0. Notre Dame with 1 shot. Wake Forest with 1 shot. Both teams with a corner apiece. Lawrence trying to send that one up ahead to Sarajan. Trickles down back into the pocket as Torvik plays to the right to White. Overlapping run by Thomas, and White trying to put one of those superb touches on that one. Even a better service ball by Thomas. I think Lawrence kind of lost it in that traffic.
Yep.
Wake Forest still on the attack as Escribano had it taken away from his back pocket.
It's worst as a goalkeeper, right? When you lose the ball in all the trees in the forest, right around in the penalty area, it can happen the most often to a goalkeeper. But for attackers, you can lose sight of the ball too when it's being fizzed in like that at a high pace. Sometimes with the amount of bodies in the penalty area, it can be really hard to see what's going on.
Notre Dame with 3 College Cup appearances in the program history, including 2 in the last 4. And a meetup with Clemson. When they got to the championship game, the ACC battle, and went the way of the Tigers. There's a switch. Stepping, Amani Thomas. Green won't be able to turn, sends it into the center circle.
Thomas went barging into the Notre Dame fullback, so the referee played advantage there. That's why there was no stop.
Balfour slipping, sliding, and that one got away from him.
I think I thought for a second he might book Amani Thomas coming back to that foul. Oh, there's a player down. Yeah, this was from the collision.
It's Ferguson that's on.
Thomas saw that he could maybe cut that ball off and get to it first, but as he came through, he ended up going through the opponent as well.
Ferguson started 16 matches last season. A big return for Notre Dame. Looks to be okay.
Yeah, Thomas gets there late and pow. It's dangerous. You know, that's
but at least
borderline.
He turned, right?
Yeah, for sure. He tried to pull out of the challenge. There was no intent behind that. He's chasing the ball, but it's borderline potential yellow card.
It's the ones that they don't turn. They just come forward straight up.
Right.
And maybe even with some teeth, the cleats. Can get a little talking to. I mean, Amani Thomas, that's part of the package you get, Kyle. You know, you have somebody that will get up into the attack, not scared to be aggressive, but sometimes, and we saw that last year and we see it this year, you'll have moments like this.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of how the official has worked this, right? You've given a long talking to the player. Hey, you know, I probably should have yellow carded you here. I'm not going to because it's your first foul, but you got to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
And Amani Thomas and all players are responsible for their body positioning. If you are at a challenge late, that's on you. It's on you to protect the opponent and not play recklessly. But also, you start showing too many yellow cards, especially early in the game, and it can affect the game. And as the referee, you want to have as little effect on the game as possible. So
Notre Dame now working. Got 2 targets inside the box. Very meticulous with how they're going to attack here. Sends that one into the 6 box. Amani Thomas going 1v1 with Balfour.
interesting that Borso is taking long throws here.
That was one thing that Coach Muse said to me, and they've got to defend the long throw-in. And that is a very long throw-in. Cooper Flax trying to fight out of traffic. Works in the favor of Notre Dame, and Notre Dame now trying to work in the midfield, getting to that final phase of the attack. Here's Balfour. This will be a fun matchup, Balfour and Thomas. Received the help from Jeffrey White. And Shaw ushers it to that far side. Notre Dame sending it in and then headed away quickly. Read well by Travis Smith Jr.
Deacs have not been able to get out of their own half. They've had a lot of heavy touches on the ball. First touch has been very, very heavy collectively tonight.
Subs coming in too for both teams. Wow, an upset in Northern California. That rivalry. Cal won, Stanford nil. Stanford had about 10 days of rest. And then after I gave them the crown of being the #1 team in the country, they take on their long, heated rival, Cal, and lose 1-0. Well, you know what? Coach Muse said Cal is a very good team, and proved his point. So here's a team that Wake Forest beat at Cal. Stanford goes to Cal and loses 1-0.
Yep.
And Perez just shows you how the ACC is any given night. Or any given afternoon, for that matter, for California. It's about 19 minutes to go here in this first half. We are locked again, 0-0. Both teams have kind of had their time with possession. Now it's Wake Forest's turn. Difficult attempt there in that pass, and the second one then intercepted. Torvik coming back on the counter press, knocked that one away, and also gets a foul to go into his favor. There's a second half with Syracuse and NC State 1-0. That score. Berkeley now in the right back position as Thomas has moved over to the left side. As soon as we talk about Cal, Berkeley comes in for Wake Forest.
Syracuse has had a good run to finish the year.
Well, that's a good layoff. Chandler Young. That should be a corner. Yes, it is. Chandler Young, as soon as he was inserted into the match against Pitt, you could clearly see Wake Forest with a little bit more teeth in their attack. And here was a near stick, at least attempt, but it does end in a corner.
Joel Torvik, too, has been very good tonight into the starting lineup. And he's been very shifty on the ball, playing really well, combining with his teammates, playing 1-2s, things like that.
Well, this is where Wake Forest, not known for their set pieces, have to come up and get gritty. Not gonna last long at all.
Ref has foul in there.
Got a little too gritty. Kruger trying to go up for that header between two Notre Dame Fighting Irish players, one of which was Borso. Schrader. And Ferguson With a little bit of space, Chandler Young now challenges him. Schultz. Flax coming back to help defending and a turn and release, and this will release Sarajan to the right. White. And Sarajan thought about it. Now he'll play him. Jeffrey White now tiptoeing right outside of the 18. That ball almost dribbled out to Sarajan. Perez. And that one is into the woods. A little frustration, but Perez needs one to calibrate right.
Well, we've seen him hit those with venom and accuracy. That one just ain't it.
He does it. So that hit his foot.
I think that was probably a little too deep to be taking a shot from. Even for a guy who can snipe it.
Mm-hmm. Burton has come in too, number 27. One of 6 freshmen brought in this season out of San Francisco.
Deac's putting on good pressure offensively now. There was a spell where they really couldn't get out of their own half, but they've started to turn it around. I think Joel Torbeck's been a big part of that. Jeffrey White also very energetic. Ooh, look out.
Borso getting up and
great recovery. He's
covering well.
He stepped completely on the top of the ball.
Now the Irish working on the right channel, up ahead, looking for Burton. Flag is up on that far side. 10 of the 15 matches in this series, Kyle, have either ended in a draw or have been decided by 1 goal, including 3 out of the last 4.
This is a tight matchup between these two teams every time they meet, and it's because the two programs are quality. Anytime you get 2 quality programs like this, it's gonna turn out like that. Good tackle.
The first time that Coach Muse took on Notre Dame as the head coach of Wake Forest. Here's a chance attempted by Balfour. Perez boxing out there. On that first matchup in 2015, Kyle, that had some stars on that field. One in which is playing for the Dallas Cowboys as the kicker, Brandon Aubrey.
That's right.
And Jack Harrison is now with Everton. "13 minutes remaining." There's Coach Muse. 6 wins, 3 losses, only 3 losses, and then 6 ties. And he is not happy with the ties. And he said to me, if you would have told me that we'd be sitting right here end of October with only 3 losses, would I take it? He said, in a heartbeat.
He's giving the ref a piece of his mind right now. I'm not entirely sure what for. May just be a bit of physicality that he's not a fan of from Notre Dame. But I'm not entirely sure what he's
remonstrating about, and now he gets a yellow card for it.
Yep.
I guess that the ref probably came over and said, hey, no more. I'm going to card you. Say your piece. Give it to me, and then I'll show you the yellow card. Again, good refereeing. But he dished it out, and he took it too.
I think as means that he leans over and maybe says something to his buddy, who's the head coach at Notre Dame. But he will back up his players, Coach Muse, and right there got a yellow card. I'm trying to put a fire under his team here with the last 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Berkeley, he's a freshman. Walent has come in. This is Flax in the pocket. Flax. Walent with some space. Berkeley clipping. Far stick. Nobody there, and is headed out of bounds, so it will be a corner for the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, safety first from Sean McDowd. I'm not sure that the moment called for it. He wasn't under a ton of pressure. Hard to blame a defender when they do that, right? Okay, sure, we gotta be defensive and understand that. Don't want to take too many chances and try and keep the ball and turn it over in your own penalty area, but that was kind of an odd moment for that.
The other one, the other corner, the most recent one before this one was negated with a foul. And this time, let's see if Wake Forest can come up with some grittiness. And another yellow card.
No, I think
Is that the same one?
That was from
okay.
before. It's a little late on it.
High arcing bend to it, far stick, headed right back in front of the 6, headed down. I believe that was Walent that got on the ladder there.
I actually think that was Travis Smith Jr.
Look how high that thing
Yeah,
is.
Walent got first to it, and then right there.
Oh, no, it was Daba.
Yep.
Daba who got in there. Daba, another freshman.
Ton of bodies down there in the penalty area.
Now, here's a Wake Forest team, 6 wins, 3 losses, 6 ties. But, you know, they still have a big chunk of their personnel brought in. And so that depth is still on display. Unfortunately, just unable to get the results. Walent has world-class speed. And after being injured, though, just a slight step missed, but still, he can get up the pitch. Perez from Kruger. Travis Smith Jr. now inserts himself, driving in and slides it to Thomas. Overloads on the left side, and now Wake Forest will spread out. Kruger driving into the half space. Berkeley. Tight quarters. Berkeley took it away from Green. Bassett Umar. Chandler Young. Does he get tripped up in the box?
Wow.
And the referee looked right at him, didn't flinch.
That looked like a clear penalty to me. I do think there's a trip here. We'll take another look at it, as will the referee. If there's a foul here, it's soft. But that does not mean it's not. That's a penalty.
Yep.
That's a clear penalty. I mean, Mitch Ferguson steps right in, and look, he knows it. They already know this is going to be a penalty.
Chandler Young was able to draw a red card against Pitt last week. Comes up here with about just under 9 minutes and gets a hit inside the box. And yeah, by the rule, that should be a PK.
I mean, that's just, there's no touch on the ball. His step goes in. To me, that's a clear pen.
Sometimes we disagree on PKs, but I think we'll agree here.
Yeah. It's a wonderful move. Just a little touch to the left to move the ball out of the way of the defender, and then Chandler Young draws the contact and receives the foul.
I tell you what, I mean, Chandler Young once again has done a good job of selling it. I mean, it still was a foul. They kind of teach this on the training.
First touch. The defender has to sort of reposition, and you can see he's going in for the tackle, and as soon as he goes in, Chandler Young just tips it out of the way, and it's the second bite of the cherry that really does it. You see the defender misses with the first step, and then he goes in with the second one. Yeah, there's the penalty. That's the right call. He goes in for a second attempt to step the ball, and that's where the foul occurs. He doesn't foul him with the first step, and then he sort of makes a second step, and that's the foul.
Chandler Young, just a freshman, but he is so good with getting inside the box and drawing contact. He's that point guard that drives inside the lane, gets hit. It's either N1 or you're going to the free throw line. So it's Vlad Walent on his senior night trying to put his team ahead 1-0. 12 yards away. Bang! Deacs up 1-0.
Chandler Young wins the penalty. Vlad Walent finishes it off. A powerful strike from the penalty spot. Goalkeeper guessed correctly and still couldn't get there. If you hit it good enough, it's not going to be saved. And that was a howitzer into the back of the net.
Vlad Walent on his senior night gets one in the back of the net. And that one had a little anger in it, a little frustration, and a little celebration at the end. Vlad has had his ups and downs this season, returning from injury. Still a class act off the pitch and on the pitch. A beautiful strike gives the Demon Deacons a 1-0 advantage here with about 8:42 remaining in the first half.
Chandler Young going down into like a three-point stance like he's a defensive lineman about to rush the quarterback.
I'll tell you one thing, Ty. You want the referee to be convinced and convicted with their calls, right? And it felt like that was just a little bit maybe waiting for video review to make the call for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make the call. You can always rescind it on review if you need to, but make the call. It felt like he sort of waited and said, well, I'll get to look at it on the monitor, so I won't call anything right now. And be convicted, be convinced, be emphatic. Good tackle.
Yeah, he was looking directly at Chandler Young.
He had a great
view of it. But why not be completely sure of it, right? And going to
well, yeah, having a look at it is the correct move, but make that call,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I'm not arguing with you. I just, I think you have that, and so I think we've talked about that before. It's you have that tool, so it's, do I make this, or do I just say,
right,
play on, we'll look at it.
Right, yeah. Deacs have really done a great job of building attacking volume over the last 15 minutes or so. Notre Dame did seem like they were on top for a little bit of this first half, and the Deacs have turned it around. And once you get the ball into the penalty area enough, good things are going to happen.
I'll tell you what, Chandler Young has been that spark, though. You definitely could see that in the Pitt match on the road last week. We saw it earlier this season when he wasn't injured. And those are the type of tools you want in your attack that can provide a very vicious attack. A team that's now got 33 goals on the season with that PK. Very similar to Rold Mitchell. Remember how Rold Mitchell was so good at getting contact in the box?
Yes.
And there was
great hold-up play too.
Yep. And there was so many PKs and goals scored. Vlad Walent into space on the right side already with a goal, slides it on the deck and immediately cleared. Deacs have a little swag back. Now look at Wake Forest under Coach Muse when scoring first. 138 wins, 6 wins this season total, 6, 1, and 2 this season when scoring first. So a good trend when they score first.
That's just an incredible record. Just to be that consistent,
Yep.
you know?
Well, that also kind of turns into, a bit of an obstacle for you, right? Because here you are with this record, and again, I've said this before, but fans, of course, get spoiled by it, and then you have a year like this, and people are like, it's not, not the same. But if you look back at Clemson, you remember when Mike Noonan, who's arguably one of the best coaches in the country, had that one bad year. After that bad year, Kyle, they flipped it, and they've been a different kind of animal since.
Yeah.
So sometimes you may need to go hit that rock bottom to jump right back up. I'm not saying Wake Forest has hit rock bottom. There's still a lot to fight for this season. They lead 1-0 too. But Coach Moose has never had that, right? Never had that one bad season.
They've never really and that's the consistency thing is you're not gonna hit them all, you're not gonna win them all. That's just how sports are, especially over the long term. You're right though, when you build a consistent winner, even if you're not number one in the country, which they have been this year, they're always there fighting for results and for titles and for accolades.
Monty Thomas playing it back here. I was kind of chatting with the former SID, Jay Carnot, the other day, talking about the season. He asked me what I thought. I said, well, if you told me, if I go into a coma and wake up, he told me that they went on a tear and got to the national championship, I'd say I would believe you. You could also tell me that they got blown out every match the rest of the way, and I said I could believe you there too. So it's a team that has a lot of potential.
Sure.
And still maybe trying to light that wick. Chandler Young sends that one high in the air, thinking it's deflected. He's immediately turning and pointing to McDowd.
Yeah, he wanted a corner off of that, and the referee was not having it.
Yeah. Speaking of Clemson, we were talking about Mike Noonan, and he is in a tight contest against the Hokies. 1-1. Hokies start off the season brilliantly. Again, that shows just about what the ACC is. I mean, Virginia Tech team that what they did against Marshall, a team that is very talented but sits at the bottom of the ACC. I put them up against anybody in the country. And I apologize to the Virginia fans because we were talking last match about Stanford being so great and who could challenge them for the ACC crown. As we said, possibly Clemson, but just went right over Virginia. They are a team that is clicking, and is when they start clicking and they are in that other universe. I mean, it is scary just with all the stars that are on their chests at Virginia.
That is
and they've got that team this
program.
season. Yep, they've got that team this season. They took out Clemson 4-0 last week. Here's Walent sliding it to Chandler Young. Maybe not quite the touch he wanted. Hoped to be a give and go or 1-2, but
there's been a lot of heavy touches tonight in this first half.
Vlad Walent scores his first goal since 2023. Of course, he made just 2 appearances last season before getting injured. Now Walent on his senior night scoring a PK. Notre Dame trying to draw even before the break.
Can't say enough about Daniel Kruger, man. He's He's just always in the passing lane and always able to step in and make a tackle.
He has been a nightmare against this offense. An attempt is Mednard. Just a little off on reading that, still able to lay out and knock it away from getting into the back of the net. That was a rip by Zimmerman. And that's how we will finish the first 45 as Wake Forest and Prime. Deacs did weather the storm in the first 45. And there's the sound of the whistle, and we are underway here in the second half. Notre Dame only had one corner. The Deacs with 3. There's Balfour. He snatched that one away. A little different lineup for Wake Forest coming in the second half. Bilal getting the start. Deba getting the start here on this left side. And Berkeley also starting. Outside right position. And Monty Thomas getting a rest with Escribano at the left side. And leading at half, you see the remarkable numbers under Coach Muse. 86 wins, 2-3, 5-0-2 this season.
It's just incredible.
You would think, hey, things happen, right? Like, to have that much consistency when leading at the half, to be able to lock down victories at that kind of a rate over a long period of time is remarkable.
And there's a lot that has to go with it, you know. And it's like we said, it is a sprint. I mean, you take off in August, mid-August, or late August actually, and then, you know, your regular season game is the end of October or maybe the 1st of November, and that's it.
Right.
For some teams.
Yep.
And some have argued, of course, that, you know, there's no time to coach.
No.
In those quick turnarounds. Of course, recent breaking news that U.S. Soccer has sent out a white sheet of paper, or what they call it, a proposal for college soccer that will turn everything upside down. There's some good things and some bad things, in my opinion. I think yours too.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, and we both can agree, is, and I think a lot of D1 coaches will agree, if they can just get it to one match per week, that would be essential.
Yeah, and I think that's what most people want, right? That's what the biggest part of this is. I think it's a little radical, the way that they're going about it, and I'm not sure it fits college athletics and what college athletics is and wants to be, especially for a non-revenue sport. But you take a look at some of the proposed changes, something we talked about earlier, Ty, the age requirement similar to the Olympics. I think that's to keep, you know, the international players that are very experienced. This is supposed to be amateur athletics. So you'll have a limit on overage players. You've got a scouting and player development standardization, which is great. You know, you've got a limited transfer portal window. I think they're looking at that in a lot of sports. But if you can have it for soccer, that would be great. It'd be similar to a transfer window, right, in the professional game. And then there's other things that have been thrown out there, like, you know, getting rid of conferences entirely and building a promotion and relegation system. I don't really know if that's the route they want to go in college athletics, because it's just not. You're creating a developmental platform is what they're trying to do, and that's not what college soccer is. There are MLS academies for that. Of course you want to develop talent in college soccer, right? Of course, that is a main goal of college soccer, but it's not the goal, right? You are creating an environment for student athletes. And if you create a system of promotion and relegation, I think you lose that
vibe, that system, and I don't know if that's the way to go about it.
Yeah, there's some really good things in that proposal. Of course, you see that the U.S. players, if they go into certain MLS academies or they sign on the dotted line, right? That's it. Like, there's no way. Now, for the international players, if they kind of get lost in the shuffle, they can kind of resurrect their career by coming overseas and playing in the United States the college way. Just like Jack Harrison did.
It's a great tackle. Notre Dame wants a foul. There was a little drag back on the shoulder there earlier in it, but once the ref let that go, the actual act of the dispossession was very clean and very legal. I think, though, Ty, the best part about the whole proposal, and something that I hope that they push regardless of how the final structure looks, is what you were talking about earlier, is the schedule.
Yep.
Play in the fall and the spring, spread the games out. Almost every coach that we've talked to has been excited about more games and more recovery time and more training time.
Yeah, more time to actually coach.
Right.
And that's one thing that I was confused with the proposal, and some of, I guess, the opinions was about cutting traveling costs, which I see that, but I think it changes with traveling because it's down to one match per week. That was the traveling that was absurd when you had to play short weeks, right? Like for Stanford, going across.
Right. Or for, if Wake has to go to SMU again, that kind of thing.
As to Bob, but Charlie Davies said it, he put it well. He said, these players, say at the age of, like, say for instance, my son at 9, way more advanced than where I was at 9. The U.S., just in the youth system, more advanced. So Charlie Davies was saying, we should see that product even elevate in the college game.
Yes. But again, player development is a goal of college soccer.
Yep.
It's not the goal. It's not the goal. And I think that pivoting the game to making that the goal and having it almost reflect the professional game is something I would personally caution against.
Well, the one thing that the leg up for ACC teams, was a great turn there in the half space by Flax. DeBot gets it, lays back to the support. But the one thing that the Wake Forest has a leg up, Virginia has a leg up at these prime Power 4 schools, is you go into this a top program that gets a lot of exposure, right? And you have that safety net, that plan B, where you get a degree.
Absolutely. And I think why I would caution against promotion and relegation too is it's against the spirit of the collegiate game in my mind, where if you have a program, there's so much turnover in the college game, Ty. Whether you limit the transfer portal, whatever, there's still tons and tons of turnover. I mean, even at its core.
Right.
Guys stay for 4 years and leave, right? Even at its core. And we all know that's not how it works out. There's so much turnover. Down years happen at every program. Creating a system where one down year can have a severe impact on your program with a relegation system is not ideal.
Yeah, I never thought of it that. I never thought of it like that, but you're right. And especially with the environment we're in, is Balfour will try to send one that's cut out by Travis Smith Jr. Yeah, especially in the environment we're in, where transfer portal, the teams change every year.
Every year.
And if you just don't get that, if you don't get that chemistry going, in one bad year, and that's a big blow to you.
Yeah. And now you're in a quote-unquote lower league, and now the recruits won't come. And it's just, and you're harming the teams that start there, right, in the lower leagues.
Notre Dame working into that final phase to Bob. It's going to stay down here for a corner. I think everybody can come to the consensus that we as a whole want to make U.S. soccer the best it can be.
Absolutely. And it has grown, like you said with Charlie Davies, it has grown significantly in the past 4 to 8 years.
Well, set pieces almost worked out.
I mean, just look at the power that MLS academies have at developing players now. They don't all perform great. You know, there's still MLS clubs that struggle with their academies, but by and large, those academies have developed a lot more talent in the last decade than they ever had before. They have more investment. They're being treated with more importance. And the college soccer game has developed more talent than it has in a long time.
Bilal. Oh, just out of the reach of Vlad Walent. Moving up to try to put the head on it was Travis Smith Jr. Yeah, I was telling my son today, actually, he said with what he has, the resources he has right now, at 9, they said we get into a DeLorean and go back to when I was he would run circles around me.
Right.
Bilal into the pocket. Turn and blast. Deflected off a Notre Dame defender. Spicer on it.
That's not an ideal shot from there. Lots of defenders in the way, and he's from a good 22 yards out.
And one thing that I'm pretty sure is in the proposal is that they would expand the NCAA tournament, which that's even great to me. Also adding to the fact that you will play the championship game in warm month of May. The switch to Lewis. Lewis was returned back. And Shaw tried to send it up in the air on a balloon ball. Back to the support of McDowell. Lake Kelly, 5 clean sheets, 3 in the ACC. Or 3 against the ACC teams. Is ranked 2nd in the ACC in save per game with a mark of 3.44, and right now just 2 saves to his name. Jonah with 1 save to his name. So Jonah now with 47 saves on the season. Balfour. A little reset here by McDowell. And Lewis. And Schrader now on it and scanning. Spicer. It's a good look. Shaw getting involved and sliding it over to the left. Here's a service ball. Well, I think if there was a Fighting Irish making the run on that far stick, that would have possibly been a dangerous ball for Mednard to see, but only 1 target in the box. Wake Forest still leading 1-0. Perez, 1 touch, sent to the right side for Vlad Walent, the goal scorer. Bilal trying to claw at it with his cleat. Nice touch. Flax thinking about it. Into the crosshair, sending it, and into the back of the net. The cape is on his senior night. Super Cooper slips it in, and very well could send his team with their 7th victory of the season.
What a snipe from Cooper Flax. The little pump fake with the left foot gets the defender in the air, and then he switches it onto his right, has ages to pick out the corner, and snipes it. What a rip. Take a look at this. He's looking up. He goes with a left foot defender, falls for the fake, and then he just delivers it with a little curl. Goalkeeper has no chance.
Cooper, his 7th goal of the season. He's had at least 1 goal contribution in 5 of the last 7 matches coming in to tonight. And on the night before the match, where he was celebrated on his senior night, hard to believe that he's a senior and his 19th of his career. And Flax may have delivered that knockout blow to give his team those 3 points. Plenty of soccer to be played. 2-0 though to Wake Forest. And Flax back with his cape on and the swag back in his walk.
That pump fake was so important to that goal because not only does he catch his defender in the air, but he basically freezes them. And that allows him to touch the ball onto his right foot. And now he has acres of space to shoot because the defender is about a second behind where he normally would be. He normally would be able to close Cooper down and not allow the shot. But because he gets caught in the air on the pump fake, he's way behind.
It's amazing what opens up. A little bit of a shake, a feint.
That's right. A dummy, whatever you want to do. It's the individual skill, and that's what's made the difference in this game, Ty, is individual skill in the final third.
Spicer trying to get creative, and that was read well by Escribano. I mean, he read that, I think, even before Spicer knew where he was going to play it. The Deacs sitting with a 2-0 lead over Notre Dame. No slouch of a team this season for Notre Dame with some of the results they've had this season. Not to mention a 1-1 tie at Virginia, which is almost unheard of. And Flax trying to fight and get that one back. Spicer has it. They won 2-0 to Pittsburgh at Pitt. And the Louisville team we saw not too long ago, Notre Dame won 3-0. Spicer was unable to turn and shoot. There's at least an attempt and blocked away. And Vlad Walent. And Deacs have only lost 1 in the last 5 matches. Of course, lots of those draws. Right now sitting with a 2-0 cushion on Halloween night. Mednard in no hurry to get this ball in play, but now we're underway. Mednard finished with 6 saves against Pitt. And that triple save, which was absolutely incredible. Walent trying to get around the defender. As Green takes it away, then moves it up on the left flank. Plenty of time and space. Shaw to bow for, and Schrader uses the square pass to Shaw. Good cutback move by Lewis. Good defensive work, too, by Deba. Deba opened up his account against Louisville. He pelted one in.
Great goal.
It'll be very interesting to see his development from this year to next. He was given a lot of praise from Coach Muse, former Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year.
He's going to grow into a very key player for this team, I think, in the next few years. He has all the goods.
And he's going to put on even some more muscle. So imagine that in his hold-up play. Only one goal this season, but you could see a lot of promise from him, not only on the training grounds, but also in matches. And Torbeck, who got the start, returns back onto the pitch. And he'll be essential next year for Coach Muse, along with Tate Lawrence, who returns, takes the place of Vlad Walent. So again, showing off or flexing the muscles of the depth for Wake Forest. All of those characters sent or that have been subbed out can put their fingerprints on a match any second. And then now you bring in maybe the normal starters, the starters that started today. Cooper, such a silky turn. We'll move to the left to Lorenz. Lorenz sliding up. Oh, that is well played. Oh, that is well played. And on the end of it, Jeffrey White, a.k.a. Mr. Smith. And look at the excitement underneath that mask.
Oh, my. I was certain Tate Lawrence was going to shoot it. And then he just sent it to the far post. He saw the run of his teammates, the run through the middle of the penalty area, drew the defenders, and then White beats his man to the far post. Look at this. Lawrence sees the run from White. White holds up just enough so he's onside. I was sure Tate Lawrence was going to shoot that from a tight angle. He had the space, but instead he fired it across the face of goal, and then Jeffrey White couldn't miss from there. What a finish.
I did too. I thought Lorenz was trying to, snipe that low corner, and he fired it. And Jeffrey White comes and collapses in. They're going to take a look at it. I don't see where it would be.
I have no idea where the offside would be. The only thing that they could choose that there would be an offside here would be, I think maybe the dummy player who could have been in an offside position and interfering with play. But I think that would be incredibly harsh.
Well, I mean, Jeffrey White arrived. I mean, his timing was perfect. I thought.
Well, there's no way White is offside.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on. So I think the only thing that they could be looking at would be the player down the middle who is potentially infringing with play. Mm-hmm. But I think that would be harsh.
Now, whatever they're looking at, doesn't matter. It's official. I don't think anybody in the stands, as well as us, would think Wake Forest would be up 3-0 with 26.5 remaining in this contest. But, once you kind of break the seal, this is what still has this potential of this team to get on a run. It's the confidence factor. And 3 goals against this Notre Dame team it's a pretty nice notch on your belt.
Yes.
Tate Lawrence now with 5 assists to go with his 6 goals. Notre Dame did lose to NC State at home 3-0. SMU put 2 goals on them. Very seldom do you have a team put up 3 or more goals on Notre Dame.
Yeah, and they've got room to play with when it comes to the NCAA tournament. But you certainly will not want to drop a couple in a row to finish the season. And, you know, now that makes their first game in the ACC tournament all that more important, just to sort of solidify their position.
Yeah, well, they missed the NCAA tournament last year, and then that heartbreaking loss in the ACC tournament, which they will refuse to do that this season. Lawrence is kind of sneaking over here on this near touchline. Well, that's what Lawrence and Jeffrey White put up there. They do that just millions of times on the training ground.
Yes.
I mean, it's now they could do that in their sleep. Escribano, look at the fight for Escribano, returning. Flax. And his pocket picked, and hopefully he's okay. Balfour came out of the blind side and took it away. And Spicer hits the deck, and very soft whistle. Barely heard it. But
Yeah, literally soft.
it's as if he accidentally blew it and said, all right, he's going to play it off. So it will be a free kick, though, for Notre Dame.
What did referees do before the days of the foam? It was so much easier to creep forward as a wall.
They are very happy with the foam, because
Yes.
you know how many times you'd have to just walk it off.
Right.
And yeah.
And then the other team starts creeping forward.
Where did you tell me to stand?
Right, exactly.
Look at the silly spray. Wake Forest hoping to keep this shutout alive, but Notre Dame very dangerous, and a hit that just veers away from the target. Bednar did guess right, just
He had it covered.
left of that post. Not a bad go there by Ferguson, though.
Yeah, he had his near post covered.
Flax giving a piggyback ride there for a second. Whistle blown. Looks like Chad Riley's going to bring in a bunch of Fighting Irish. Now as Borso keeps that one on the deck. Balfour from long distance and right at the hands. That did have some fire behind it, too.
Yes, it did.
With the big mitts of Bednar, it just died. Right at the watch how this ball's blasted, and then Bednard's big hand. Right.
Yes, I mean, Balfour puts some real sting behind that. Ty, Wake Forest has had something in this game that they haven't had in a game in a while, and that is control. They have controlled the pace of play of this game. They controlled the flow. They have dictated the tempo.
Flax, White, left foot, popped in the air. Great goalkeeping by Kelly.
Great recovery.
Yes. White thought he had a brace. Wake Forest still manufacturing another trip inside the 18. You said it, partner. Touches in the box. Scribano, Torbic. Belfar's so good of hiding behind the defender. There's Flax. Escribano. But you notice how the touch and the control has been palpable as soon as the confidence had moved up.
Yes.
Well, I also think it's interesting that Notre Dame isn't really pressuring them on the ball very much. There's not been a lot of pressing today from Notre Dame. You know, they'll spring a trap or two every once in a while, but for the most part, they've allowed Wake Forest to have the ball and have worked off of that, trying to counter and defend and all that. And it just, the Deacs have taken advantage of it for the most part. Look at this shot from Jeffrey White. He just tries to pick out the top left corner. It's a little too central. Goalkeeper gets one stop to it, and it almost ends up dribbling back over the line, able to recover and keep it out.
The awareness was top-notch there for the keeper.
It's tough as a goalkeeper because when you make that initial save, sometimes you can lose the ball. It's almost like a catcher in baseball with the mask on, right? You have the foul ball. You have no idea where it goes. Yeah, exactly. And so he knew exactly where it went and was able to recover and keep it out.
Sullivan has come in. Escribano remains on that left back position. He got his 6th year after some injuries that stopped some of his performance and stopped some of his season short, like last season. Nagima. Lawrence was targeting that far flag. A high degree of difficulty, but Deacs still with possession.
That was not exactly an advisable shot. Jonah Mendard was not off his line at all. He just heard somebody, I think, from the crowd just go, "Thank you." Give the ball right back. An inadvisable pass from Nagima, but there's been very little pressure from Wake Forest. You know, you've seen a lot of teams in the ACC this year from Notre Dame. You've seen a lot of opponents this season in the ACC largely who have really put Wake Forest under pressure with pressing and trapping, and it's caused them a lot of problems. Notre Dame has just not done that tonight at all.
Lawrence with his hand up over here on this left side. Flax unable to see him, and Torbic does see him. It plays into that center pocket with Flax as the Deacs work their touches a little bit more, eking closely into the 18. That one sent over the top over the bar by Chandler Young. Chandler Young got this thing started with a penalty kick he drew inside the box in the first half, which Vlad Walent gladly accepted on his senior night. Made it 1-0. Then Cooper Flax put on his cape, sent a sniping ball lower right corner. And then Jeffrey White and that high-speed attack with Lawrence and Jeffrey White sending in on the far stick, and the masked wonder immediately put that one in the back of the net. White now with 3 goals on his season, 3 goals and 2 assists. Well, what has Wake Forest done? I know you alluded to that, the confidence, they've been able to possess the ball. They've had control. They've dictated how they wanted to do. What have they done this match? Is it just pretty much just having confidence in themselves, in their game?
It's just a better execution. I know that's very baseline and simple, but they're just executing better. They're able to skip around a lot of the pressures from Notre Dame, and they've been accurate passing. There's been a lot of incisive passing. You see one off the mark there from Escribano, and it springs a Notre Dame counter. So there just hasn't been a lot of that. There haven't been a lot of mistakes in possession. And the other thing is Notre Dame had control of the game through the first 20 minutes, and we remarked that Wake Forest had a lot of heavy touches in those first 20 minutes, and we haven't seen almost any of that since. The first touches have been a lot better. They've used their body well to shield the ball.
The first touch says so much. If you're rattled, that touch goes away from you. If you're not sure of yourself, that's the first thing that goes. But once you are on the borderline of cocky, I mean, that ball just sits perfectly laid down right in front of you with that silky smooth touch. And we've seen that this season from this Wake Forest team. It's almost that they have that heavy boot, right? The ball comes in. They usually supposed to get that soft touch to keep that in front, and then it's like they've got a mallet just.
Well, I think it looks worse too sometimes when the opponent is pressing really hard because you don't have a lot of space. There's a lot less room for error. So it looks worse sometimes against opponents that do that.
Coach Muse is going to bring in some even fresher legs. Nico Rabiot gets his first touch on the pitch. Subachan also coming in. Sarajan returning back. He'll play the left wing.
And even there, Notre Dame pressed a little harder that time, and they just passed their way out of it. The team today has been really good in possession.
Long ball over the top, not going to quite reach Sarajan. Sarajan did advertise himself that he was open. And the game of...
He's got to be careful with that time wasting there. That was a little obvious.
Notre Dame's last match was at Boston College, so last 2 matches on the road. They won 1-0 against BC, tough place to play. Chad Riley said he's proud of the team. And have a couple disappointing results. You know, you learn about the character of his team. Coming back and getting a 1-0 victory over Boston College, remaining on the road, and then now trailing 3-0. So, of course, a character check, gut check for the Fighting Irish with about 12 minutes remaining, down 3-0. Rabiot trying to slip around. That byline crept up on him. Deacs sat #1 in the country in mid-September, and since then the Deacs have only won 2 games to their last 9. Of course, lots of ties in there. But the Deacons have only dropped 2 of their last 23 matches here at Spry Stadium, with wins in 10 of their last 16. And the Deacs firing on all cylinders tonight. A farewell And a senior farewell, too. Possibly the last time that Wake Forest will play on this pitch here at Spry Stadium. That one's taken away from Davia. Now Notre Dame trying to see if they can get one back. As Lewis has to maneuver. Breaks there, send it back way outside of the 18 and blocked. That was White. White, you see the kind of expression, the energy that he has. That is the same at the training pitch.
Yes, it is.
It continuous. And it kind of drives, gives that extra like jolt of Red Bull to this team.
Really important touch in that from Jojo Davia, too.
Tough ball to play and to get that foot way up there. But he scored a goal similar to what he did here in training the other day. And he screamed as if he just, won the game for his team.
Yes.
There's Torbic. I'm going to send that one up ahead for White as Escribano gets it and then sends it to Sarajan. Tough ball played, and Sullivan has to throw out his long leg to move that one away from Borso. And there's Rabiot. He's so slick with the ball. It's all in the hips, Kyle.
Yeah.
The swivel. Hips don't lie. Just like the ball don't.
That's right.
Under 9 here at Spry Stadium.
Looks like Owen Barnett is over there on the sideline, ready to come in at goalkeeper for Wake Forest.
Harvey, Sarajan, byline, and just rolled out. He tried to sneak it past that line judge, but he was right there. Rolled out of bounds, be a goal kick. And now the Deacs, as you mentioned, will switch keepers. Will Jackson comes in, Owen Barnett coming in. Those two challenging for the #1 spot as a goalkeeper. It was tight. Jonah, they just edged out, but they both have really good attributes as a keeper. And Owen Barnett was once played striker. So
I feel like the stories, you hear that story a lot, right?
Yeah.
Oh, used to play striker. A lot of defenders too used to play striker, and then they got moved back, and just sort of how it happens. It's a good tackle. No, there's nothing in that. He won the ball.
Well, they're going to review it anyway. They heard you, Kyle, and they said we're going to review it anyway.
Yeah.
Because Kyle knows everything. As you smile and say yes. Well, Barnett is from Athens, Georgia, at 6'2".
I've been wrong on this broadcast many times.
Just the weather. That was two years ago.
Oh, gosh. No, it looks like it's going to clear up.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that they reviewed it.
I didn't either. We didn't even get a chance to look at it. Yeah, I don't know what they were looking at there, to be honest with you. He got the ball.
Owen Barnett, it was highly recruited. He had Michigan knocking on his door, Stanford, Virginia, Clemson, Cornell, Penn State. You're orange, Furman. Will Jackson.
That looked like maybe
in.
a foul. There's 7 minutes left and it's 3-0.
Jackson's another one of those fighters, a sophomore out of Homewood, Alabama. He is extremely intense at every training time of year over at this training grounds. Just is exactly who you want. Is you look down on the depth-wise and have somebody like Will Jackson that during even just regular practice and knockaround, he's treating it like it's a pivotal ACC match.
Yeah, and that's how Bobby Muse instills in his players, like, look, this is how you get on the field, right? We have a lot of talent, but if you can show me that you deserve to play, and the way you do that is on the training ground.
Trying to go over the top there, but there's Brett Russell, also part of the freshman class at 6'2". Came in and got himself an assist early in the season. Five and a half with the Deacons trying to roll down the clock with 3 points pretty much in the bag, leading 3-0. And what could be their final match at Spry here in 2025. They did make it memorable. Bobby Muse is in his tenure at Wake Forest, 70 wins over conference opponents. And about 4.5 minutes from 71. Well, the Deacs were hoping that, that gritty win against Cal, at Cal, which actually seems to be even more glorious to them now. You were hoping that Wake Forest would get some well-needed momentum and confidence. They didn't quite get over the hump. Yep. But you're wondering if this 3-0 victory, if it does stay intact, will that be enough to propel them like they did last season?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, this is a big win in terms of RPI, in terms of confidence, all of that. I tell you what else is a great result for Wake Forest today is that Cal win over Stanford. Mm-hmm. That is going to help their RPI significantly.
It was a big win. Something that I did not have on my bingo.
No, I don't think anybody did.
Although, I mean, Coach Muse immediately told me that Cal's a lot better than what people think. I don't know if he had him beating Stanford, but they did have some talented players on there. It was just a sloppy match where Wake Forest went to Berkeley. Flag is up on offside call. We move under 2 minutes. Oh, that's clever. Jeffrey White with momentum and just a little too much momentum there. That ball, a little heavy touch and then too far out in front for him to get to it.
The passing out of the back today from Wake Forest has been fantastic. This is the best that I think we've seen their possession build from the back in quite a while this year. And it's been throughout the squad. It's been the starters, the first half subs, the second half subs, the closers, like everybody has built from the back very, very well with the ball. They have been able to pass their way through Notre Dame.
Well, with their schedule this season, Kyle, with lots of home matches, but it's hard to believe that this is just the 4th ACC match played at Spry. We started off the ACC slate at Chapel Hill, ended in a 1-1 tie. Wasn't exactly ideal, but, you know, it was a point that they felt that was good. Go on the road, go against Carolina, a tough Carolina team, and get 1 point. Things were looking promising. And probably would have never thought in their wildest imaginations that they would get their first ACC win in the last night of ACC play. The Deacs, not only did they get the victory, they definitely put up a nice finale for possibly their last